You are listening to the Highlight Reel. This is Scott Moore with Matt Webb. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, Scott?
Doing well. Today's show, Coach Ryan Collins from Alcoa High School is joining us, as well as sophomore basketball player Ty Cates. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing real good. Ty is, he's going to be a superstar. I'm not going to kid anybody. I hate the dice words here. This kid threw down 35 last night.
Have you been watching film on him? I feel like you must have been doing that before.
From time to time, I watch film and I can get dangerous. LeBron or Michael?
Michael. It's easy.
We can have a conversation.
How you're a sophomore? You're going to be. So you are a sophomore now.
Yeah.
And it's still Michael.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I already like this guy.
High IQ. I can already tell.
Well, actually,
Coach, LeBron or Michael?
I mean, no doubt in my mind, the GOAT's Michael.
There we go.
Larry Bird would be mine.
Not a bad pick. I'm a big Celtics guy now myself.
Are you really?
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
how tall are you? What's your position? All that kind of stuff.
I'm like 5'11", and I don't really have like a certain position because he just kind of plays me wherever Coach Collins does.
Well, see, here's one of my first questions. I saw that it says point guard on some of your highlights, and that's probably because you bring the ball up a lot, I'm guessing, right? But I also saw you, like, block a few shots. So you're kind of everywhere on offense and defense, right? So you just – do you ball hawk or do you guard the post? What do you do on defense?
I try to plug the paint. I just like to sit in the paint stuff so they drive in there. There's more bodies. They become unfocused, you know.
When did basketball start for you? Like, when did you start playing?
Oh, when I was like 8, when I was super young, kind of.
Okay, but how? I mean, what made you want to play basketball? Were your friends playing it, or were you?
Nah, I went to like this little rec center every day, and there's just basketballs and stuff. And my dad was a huge basketball dude, so
I got you.
You know, it started out with basketball.
Did your dad play in college or anything?
He played high school, but he didn't really play nothing.
sound familiar, Matt?
Yeah, it's like me. He was good. He was good. I bet that old high school player.
That's right.
He could only rebound. That was it.
I could only get water. That's what I did.
Yeah, the manager.
I kept score.
So when did you know you were going to be the basketball is what you wanted to do?
After I scored, I think my like career highest ever was like 40 points. So after I scored that, I just wanted to focus on it.
And how long ago was that? Did you score 40?
Oh, I was like I think 6th or 7th grade.
Whoa,
I can't remember.
6th or 7th grade.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
Did you play at Alcoa Middle School?
No.
Okay.
I went to Salvador Middle School.
Okay, I got you in Knoxville. And you put 40 on somebody. Who was that?
No, that was for AAU. I can't remember who it was. It was like the Irish, I'm pretty sure is who it was against.
Okay. Have you always been a three-point shooter, or did that come later?
No. It came a lot later.
I got you. Were you tall when you were little? Were you inside?
No, I wasn't really tall at all.
Okay.
I've always kind of been outside. I ain't really played inside.
So we talked a little bit about, you asked, was it Michael or LeBron?
Yeah.
And he said, what'd you say?
Michael for sure.
Michael.
Which, he already got points with us.
Absolutely.
The old dudes in the room.
The old dudes.
So, but who do you watch now? Like, who do you emulate? And forget LeBron, because we already talked about him. Like, whose game do you like to watch and think, man, I could play like that?
Oh, well, really nobody, because I can't play like none of them. Like, I don't have their size or none of that. But I like to watch, of course, Curry. But I watched a lot of MJ stuff because I thought MJ could score really effortlessly. So
you go and watch highlights of MJ?
Yeah, but like I would watch what he do like in the highlights that like made it for him to score. He did a lot of jab steps, pump fakes, kind of. I can't do the fadeaways. That takes a lot of like upper body balance. I don't have that.
All right, Coach Collins, you've coached a lot of kids. How many of them go back and watch MJ highlights to watch his moves and bring that to the game?
Everybody knows who MJ is, but for him to immediately start breaking down kind of what makes MJ special, the jab steps to get somebody off balance, that's what makes this kid remarkable. You talked about whether or not he could shoot it kind of growing up. Ty, in my opinion, in the past 4 or 5 months has made more progress in a shot than any kid I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And how did he do it? He starts with the YouTube clips. Guys he admires shooting, who he feels has the right mechanics, and puts his time in there. That's what separates him, and I think can make him elite and has led to such quick growth.
Yeah.
A lot of kids are going to say, okay, I want to get better as a shooter, or I want to be MJ. I need to just go to the gym and just shoot. But a lot of times it's not the right mechanics, or you're not working on the right thing, or working on those details or intricacies. And I think he separates himself because he's going to spend the time in the video first.
Yeah.
So are we talking about an honest-to-goodness gym rat here?
honest to goodness gym rat. He might not come across as one, but this kid will be sitting, I don't know, Sunday afternoon, hey, coach, can I get in the gym? Well, sure, I'll come pick you up. We'll drop you off. And so then it's one of those things, you drop him off in the gym and it's 9. He's not going to say I'm ready to go home till 1 or 2. That's what makes you a gym rat, in my opinion. And it's not going there and just kind of by volume get up a bunch of stuff. It's deliberately working at something he wants to add to his game.
Yeah.
And when he gets his mind on, hey, I need to get better at this, I'm going to get better at this, he dramatically improves it very quickly. Now, we've had a lot of time on our hands through the quarantine, et cetera, so all those hours kind of were available. But I definitely think he's put the time in that regard.
How did that impact last season and this season? Like, how was that on an athlete? I imagine
I can imagine playing for a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden someone says, you can play, but not in front of a bunch of people now. Does that affect your game at all?
No, I personally like kind of less people. Like before, I like when there's fans because, like, you know, I like to like talk to fans and stuff. I like to have fun when I play.
You mean you talk trash to the fans?
Not really talk trash. I just like to like troll them. I just like to mess around.
I got you.
Not really even trash talking.
Yeah.
I just like, can someone give me some money for a Snickers or a Reese's, just something? Because I just like messing around. But I kind of like not having a bunch of people here because like the first time I played Maryville, there was a lot of people there. And I was nervous at first, so I would prefer not as many people because they still show at the game. Yeah,
I was going to ask you that. So, are you somebody that gets nervous before a game? Do you get nervous during the game?
I get nervous every game because I'm afraid that the other team's going to like hold me to like 0, and I'll have 0 impact on the game, like for winning. And I really want to win. So like, if I can't do anything good, really, that's what I think before every game. And then normally I have a decent game.
Let me ask this question because I read something about you before getting ready for this interview, and that was an interview of you right after you guys lost, right before you were going to go to state. I think you were going to go to state. You lost in sub-state, right?
We did to Sullivan South last year, yeah.
And your answer to the reporter baffled me because he asked, hey, what are you going to do next year? How do you feel about next season? And you said something that I don't think many freshmen would say, and you're like, I don't care about next season right now. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. I love these guys I'm playing with. I love this team, and I wanted to keep playing for this team. Winning's that important to me. That blew me away for somebody your age. I don't know if you see that a lot, but that was crazy.
No, one phrase I try to use to the kids is, what do freshmen want? Freshmen want to play. What do sophomores want? Sophomores want to start. What do juniors want? Juniors want to score. And then when you get to senior, you kind of really grasp what it's all about. I just want to win.
Yeah.
I love the guys around me. I want the experience. I want the state experience. I just want to win. He's sitting there as a freshman. He makes the comment after freshman year. I think that separates him in terms of maturity.
Absolutely.
That you're able to, well, I just want to play, and I hate the season ended, towards you saw a guy that just really cared about winning, and that's what Ty's about to me.
And Ty, when you hear your coach say these things about you, how does it make you feel?
I feel greatly appreciated.
Yeah. What's the coaching relationship like? It seems like you appreciate coaching. You're a coachable kid, and I think that's a big thing.
I don't know. You have to ask coach if I'm coachable. Because
I couldn't wait to hear this answer.
I try to do my best to like listen, but if it's something I'm not like 100% sure of, like not why it's happening, but like if it's going to work or not, I'll question like, are you sure this is the right way? Like, because I like try to point out scenarios and stuff. But
so when we walked in the room, and for the listeners out there in podcast land, we walk into coach's office and they've got this nice 80-inch, 70-inch TV. They're watching film from last night.
We had a 16-inch VHS combo when we were watching film in the day, but still.
And Ty turns to coach and asks a very detailed question. And to me, it was the room kind of got quiet. I was like, this can't be a sophomore in high school asking this question. This is deep. This is somebody that has a really solid understanding of not just the game of basketball, but his role within a team, which I think is spectacular from an outside looking in. Coach, I'll ask you, posed the question before we started recording, high IQ over here, right?
Definitely high IQ, and that's what's much appreciated in this, coaching kind of player relationship is the feedback that Ty can give me is very valuable. It's valuable to helping me grow and understand the game from new perspectives, and then it's helpful from taking what's received and using it to help our team get better. And so, like, kind of the stuff he's talking about is when is the right time to come back and offer that feedback, and when is the time to just say, yes, sir, you're right, and then we go back to the film and we dissect and we analyze and we have those detailed conversations and kind of an intricate balance to figure it all out. And he's done a really good job in the past year of making strides. And I hope he feels on his side of it that I'm open to listening to him.
Yeah.
I respect his understanding of the game, and I respect his perspective, because what he sees out there as a player and what I see on the sideline are very different. And there's a time and place for both perspectives, but at the end of the day, no matter what kind of conversation takes place, and sometimes the conversations are very emotional. We both want to win, and there's emotions involved when you're competitors. And I feel like I'm a competitor, and there's no doubt he's a competitor. And you just have to make sure, no matter what kind of takes place, you're walking out of that timeout or that huddle or that locker room, and you're still on the same page.
Yeah, that look on his face almost said everything when you were talking and when you asked the question. But to me, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Coachable doesn't mean that you just listen to everything that I say and do everything that I say. The fact that I'm thinking as a manager, and we both manage people, and you do that as a coach and as a teacher, but you want feedback and you want almost people to challenge you. You want people to work for you that are almost better at you than you. You wouldn't mind if he had more basketball IQ than you at this age. But there's some point where I'm the coach and you're the player. Right, so I want that feedback from you, but then I say, "Hey, this is how it's going to be. This is the play we need to run. You got to run it." That to me is coachable. The feedback and the interaction.
I agree.
And not to interrupt, I apologize, but when you think of some of the social interaction that is, you're going to be dealing with this for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter if you're playing ball or not. The dynamic of being coachable to a manager until the day you are the manager is a huge thing that a lot of people that go through their entire career, they never get it. They never understand it. So the ceiling is quite low. But we walked in on a conversation earlier today when you were asking Coach about these questions, very detailed questions that there are not many young men your age that even know how to approach these types of subjects, that it just really is impressive to me that that he's already there.
Nor do they care, because Scott was asking me when we were watching some practice. He's like, "How many shots did you throw up when you played in high school?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I went to practice because I had a job and everything else. I shot in practice and a little bit on the weekends. That's not how you become a great player.
Right.
You got to put in the work outside of practice, right? And so it's clear to me that you want to do that. So tell me this. After your freshman year, after you had that interview and the season ended the way you didn't want it to end, I know your mentality, sort of. You were ticked off that you weren't playing again. What did you think you needed to work on between your freshman and sophomore year to get better or to make the team better?
Most certainly my three-point shot, for sure.
Okay.
That was the first thing I wanted to work on.
Yeah.
And then after my three-point shot, I wanted to get my left hand down. I could just go left at will, but I haven't made it that far, at least with my left hand. I still got improvements with my three-point shot.
So you're still dribbling. I mean, you made 7 threes last night, right?
Well, I went 7 for 11. I missed a few easy ones.
You missed a few easy threes.
Just to tell you who Ty is, took Ty home after the game the other night. Before I can even start the car, he's on his phone trying to, check in with him. Hey, what are you looking at? He's watching the arc of his shots from the Kingston game. I can't figure out why I missed these shots. Take a look at my arc. Do you think my arc's too high? And dissecting it before we even in the car ride on the way home. The film uploads instantly. I mean, the attention to detail and kind of the hunger for perfection and excellence is definitely there with him. And again, I think it's a separator.
I'm just going to tell you.
It is a separate.
I'm pretty sure every coach in America would take 7 for 11 from 3.
I was about to say.
I mean,
oh my God,
there's a time and a place to take a bad shot. I could see that.
68%'s not bad.
Right. If they're all good shots, I mean, I could see a bad 3 that you know was going to be miss. But
if you go 7-11, you're allowed a heat check.
Exactly.
Right? At least one, right?
Sorry,
from a coaching aspect.
My arm got tired from hitting threes. Okay.
So when you're watching, I'm assuming you watch college basketball too, because you watch all the basketball you can. It sounds like.
I don't watch any college basketball really.
Okay. So you don't. So let's go to maybe where would you want to play? Do you have any idea where you might want to play ball?
No, not yet. I haven't really even looked at it yet. I just wake up every day and I just think about what I can do in the present of basketball. I don't actually think where I would go.
That's crazy. That's an incredible mentality.
Okay, so coaches that are out there listening to this podcast, I've seen the highlight reel. This kid's going places. people are going to start calling you, and they're going to want to play basketball. They're going to want you to play basketball for them, and it's going to blow your mind, kid. But if you keep on this trajectory, it's unbelievable. I mean, having somebody that breaks down their game and has such tenacity and a desire, like in that moment, to get better, it's so far beyond the normal. It's just not normal.
I can't imagine many players in America saying, I'm focused on what I can do tomorrow to get better or to get better in this season. I don't care about where I'm going to play college. That's going to come, and it's going to come because of what I do tomorrow or the next day. That's an incredible mentality, and I think it's a great mentality, but I think it's like rare, completely rare.
So, Coach, when you look at his game and you think of percentages, let's talk percentages for maybe a potential suitor or coach that's out there looking for a point guard, a two guard, somewhere out there. Where do you think his field goal percentage is right now?
I would say from 56 to 60 around the rim. He's honestly probably the best player I've had the privilege to coach in terms of getting downhill. I think he's got a great first step. He's got a great handle. But what makes him elite is he's never really off balance at the rim. He has great body control, physical.
I wanted to ask
period.
Can I ask you about that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Because he doesn't play slow.
He doesn't.
But he plays in control.
Smooth.
It's not fast.
He looks
either.
smooth on tape.
Yeah. I mean, you get past your guy, but you're not past your guy out of control. And there's a big, big difference. What you're saying to me is it stands out on tape. Like he's totally – his feet are under him almost every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
And, I think he should get way more foul calls than what he does. And there were times last year he's shooting 16 free throws in a game, which I think is an absurdly high number, and I think it should have been way more. But he doesn't necessarily need those calls because he doesn't blow a lot of finishes.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's because his body composure and just stability and posture are so good regardless of circumstance. He's never in a hurry, but yet he's still very quick off the bounce. And I think that's what separates him. And so I think you see a very effective field goal percentage there. And now that he's kind of added the three-point shot, and you got to honor the three-point shot, and you got to honor a mid-range and a step back, he's got it all. Yeah. And so I think, and we have this conversation a lot, the only person who can, really hold you back is yourself if you choose to settle. And so he's figuring out kind of this great balance of when's the right time to just rack it because I can do it whenever I want, when's the right time to hit the shot, and how do I keep a defender on my toes. And it has been fun to watch with the development of his three-pointer.
Is there pressure to involve your teammates too, or do you just like doing that? Because you're a good passer too.
Oh, no, it's a lot of pressure. I was playing against it was Maryville. We were playing against Maryville, and I could have shot like 2 or 3 threes, just step backs, but I didn't want to make people mad. Like, I don't want to ball hog or nothing.
Yeah.
And then finally, one of my teammates said, "Will you please just shoot the ball?" So
they want to win too. Yeah.
So I said okay, and I shot a step back, and it went in. So I was like, okay.
You said you were nervous because you want to, you don't want to be shut down. You don't want people to scheme for you and keep you from impacting the game. But when I watched the game, one of the things your coach was talking about, the smoothness and the always in control. That's the part of the nervousness that I don't see, because there's a lot of players that would get nervous about where they're going with the ball, especially if they get some pressure on them or something like that. And I don't see that. It looks like you don't feel that when you're on the court. It looks like you feel like you always know what you want to do with the basketball or where you want to go.
Yeah, most of the time on the court, it's like, because like before game, pregame, that's all I think about is like, what happens if I get stopped? Like, are we still going to win or anything like that? But like when I get on the court, and like it just kind of depends how the first like few minutes are going, but there's been times I've had like a bad half, and then the next half I just kind of go crazy, or vice versa. So on the court, I'm not really nervous at all.
Is it just because all the preparation beforehand? Is that what makes you comfortable, you think?
Yeah, most of the time. I think pregame, like most of the time I like try to think what would happen, like how they would really try to stop me, and I try to think how I'd get around it, and still have an impact most of the time.
Coach, when you look at this kid's his style, his tenacity, his know-how, what type of program do you think he's going to thrive in at the next level?
I think, honestly, Ty's a Swiss Army knife. He could thrive in whatever style. And why do I say that? Because how do you thrive in a slow-paced kind of read and react style, or maybe a very high-paced kind of more freedom. It's because he's so skilled on both sides of the ball and can have such an impact on the side of the ball. I think Ty is elite in transition, and so on the next level, I would love to see him paired with a team that kind of gets to get up and down. I think, again, makes great decisions. If you give him a lot of freedom, you can play through him. He's a player. He's not selfish in the least. He could go out and try to get 40 every single night for us. But at the same time, he understands that if I don't get my teammates involved, then they're not going to play as hard. They're not going to want to play with me. And I got to get them going, and chooses to kind of do so. So long story short is I think he could fit in whatever's asked. I think you heard that earlier in this interview. Well, I'll do whatever the coach asks me to do. If the coach wants me to have the ball in his hands, I'm comfortable with the ball in my hands. And that's the quote-unquote point guard. If he asks me to kind of get off the ball, we got another guy. We love the ball in his hands as well. Ty will move off the ball and be effective. Yeah. He needs to be a shutdown guy tonight. I'm going to try to lock up and do what's asked. So, I think he's a Swiss Army knife just because he can impact the game in so many ways. And ultimately, why is that? Because he's very skilled.
Yeah. Ty, when you talk about a weakness in your game, the left hand, how today as a sophomore, how by the time you sign on the dotted line on signing day, how does that left hand come and develop? What do you need to do?
I need to work on it. Plenty of hours in the gym, hopefully this summer. That's what I did with my 3-point shot. So, like, that time I spent last year working on my 3-point shot, I'm going to spend this year trying to work more on my left hand, pull-ups too.
What do you want to do with basketball? I mean, it doesn't you're not in it for the fame or to play in the NBA, it doesn't sound like. I mean, obviously that's a goal. But what do you want to do with it?
I just want to get as far as I can get personally, something about like hitting a shot and kind of watching everybody like react to it. I just find it like not amusing, but like fun to me. Like, just doing like making any type of play that has an impact. Everybody kind of go crazy.
You're one of those rare people. I feel like that your competitor is you, and that's important. I feel like just from this interview, I can tell that like you're competing against yourself. You want to be better than the Ty of yesterday.
Oh yeah,
the Ty today. That's why you do it. It sounds like. Yeah,
for sure. If it's something I really want to win in, I always want to get better and improve.
There's a quality here that when I talk to him, I'm almost starstruck in a way, because this guy, and I'm not blowing smoke here, Ty, you have a tenacity that's almost it's envious. You're going to have no trouble if you continue on the path you're down, being successful in any part of your life. If you take the same type of mentality to get better every single day. I mean, it really is a neat thing to run into something like this.
I think what you're trying to say is the drive that you see just in this interview and just from what Coach is saying, and just what he says, is a small percentage of the population.
Very small.
Has that kind of drive. That's what separates people. Talent, obviously you got that talent, but there's lots of people with your talent that don't work like you work. And I think that's what's going to separate you. That's what makes people go further. That's what makes the Michael Jordans and the LeBrons and all those people is the drive to get up and do that every day, because it's easy to not do that. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
No,
Coach.
I completely agree. There's a phrase that Kevin Eastman, kind of recognized, motivational speaker, NBA coach on the college level. He always says there's a great difference between a kid that has talent and is talented with the ED, because the ED to him stands out for the extra dimension. And he's talking about the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryants and the guys that had all the talent in the world. Everybody looks upon it and it was quote unquote easy, but then they did take it to the next level. When they achieved the highest level, they're competing like you talked about, Matt, they're competing with themselves. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not happy with just the championship. I can be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's Ty. And then on the flip side of it, I think there's something hard that goes with that, because if you're chasing perfection, he's a kid that's very hard on himself. Mm-hmm. And so there's maybe a flip side, of the coin there of, you try to compliment him on the 7 threes and he's upset with the 4 he missed. And to me, like, that's a hard part, maybe, Ty, that you can kind of build on. I don't know if that makes sense, but
it makes total sense. I mean, at a certain point, you want someone to be self-motivating, but not so self-deprecating.
Correct.
Critical. Self-critical that it holds them back.
It's like a fine line on using it to drive you forward always, and not getting to the point of, okay, I'm not perfect, and therefore I don't keep chasing that perfection. I guess
to me, it's like if you run into a player that is really high above where they should be. Their level is just so far beyond. A lot of people would describe it as a generational type athlete, someone that comes around only once or twice in a coach's career, once or twice in, for us, there was only one MJ. But finding someone that wants to go above and beyond and challenge themselves to get to that point every single day, is, I personally, I'm almost a little in awe of it, because, what we have here is, the exception to the rule, and you don't run into that very often.
And one of the things I haven't gotten from you is you're not going to not put up that next shot because you missed 3, though, right? I mean, that's not you.
Well, it depends. Like, if I'm like 1 for 5, I'm gonna try to get to the basket. My highest chance of hitting a shot. But if I'm like, after I get a few basket shots, I'll go back out to a 3.
Listen to that. That's what you're supposed to.
That's what you're supposed to say.
Well,
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
You gotta,
right?
So you're not like Scott. Scott would come in off the bench and jack a 3.
No, I don't.
You got to get that layup or that free throw in first, right?
Well, yeah, but like if I come off in the game and I hit, like I feel personally, if I hit 1 3, I feel like I can really heat up, and that's why normally if I hit 1 3, I'll kind of start shooting a little bit more, because
that's the heat
I feel
check.
like all I need is 1 to go in, and then I think I'm settled for the rest of the game.
The basket gets bigger when they go in.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know what I mean, Scott, right?
I have no idea. And listen, Ty, you've been real gracious with your time and the fact that you're talking to a guy. I went into the 8th grade at 5'8", and I graduated from college at 5'8.5".
Shortest guy in the room tonight.
I mean, I'm not an athlete nor basketball player, and you have humored me with your grace in having me talk basketball with you. You're the expert in the room, and hands down.
It's been fun.
It has been a lot of fun talking to you guys, Coach. Thank you so much for letting us come in and do this. You're really an impressive gentleman. On your game is highly impressive. Is it fair to say he's an even more impressive human being, though?
Definitely. I think in life you see the same thing as a basketball player. He wants to be better tomorrow than he is today.
Yeah.
And I think that's all any human being can ask of themselves.
Yeah.
And whether it's character-wise or skill-wise. And again, like you guys have alluded to, he's chasing that in all aspects, and I'm just fortunate, to be kind of a small part in his journey as he kind of progresses into a young man.
So, guys out there, coaches, when you're listening to this show, and you're going to want to catch this guy on film after listening to him, we understand that he's not a big player in social media. If you know anything about social media, coaches, that's a good thing. Coach Collins, tell all of our listeners where they can get a hold of you to recruit or to reach out and to talk about Ty's game, or to get some footage of him.
Best way would be, I guess, start with maybe email. And so that's rcollins@alcoaschools.net. Also, as a program, while he doesn't have his own kind of social media stuff, we're very active on social media. My personal Twitter account is R2A3C. And then also we have an Alcoa Hoops account that's pretty active, definitely active during the season. Reach out kind of on any platform. I don't know if anybody would want this. I'm not scared to throw my cell phone number out there if it's appropriate, but my cell phone number is 423-773-6210. I would love to talk about Ty in any way. I believe in him wholeheartedly. And just we're sitting here very appreciative of you guys doing this. I completely believe in the vision of using a platform that you guys are given to help others.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing in terms of helping these high school athletes. And I want to be in the same business, and I think you're in the business of just servanthood. So thank you very much for what you all do.
And I know we can find you online, right? We can see your highlights. You can Google them, right? You just Google Ty Cates.
I wasn't really sure of that. I just wanted to thank you guys, though, for the interview. I appreciate it, too.
No, hey.
It's been an honor, man.
All right, Matt, tell everybody where they can find us on social media.
On Facebook and Instagram, you can find us at the Highlight Reel, REAL 865. And on Twitter, We're at Highlight865. Check us out on all those places. And on YouTube, we're at The Highlight Reel.
And if you're out there and you have any up-and-coming athlete at your high school that you'd like to mention to us, please reach out. We'd love to get them an interview.